So I just want to talk about something that's been on my mind. Because it's fun. It's a lot of fun. Well, came out not... Not too long ago, Mission Impossible 6 Fallout came out, and it was freaking awesome. I loved it, and I look forward to seeing more of it. But here's the thing. Tom Cruise getting pretty freaking old. He cannot do any more of these stunts, no matter how many times he says otherwise. I think one of these days we're gonna see him die, whether we like it or not. So then it hit me. There's something that they could do that would be really freaking cool in the franchise. And so I just wanted to share that idea with you. Maybe not everyone is completely familiar with Mission Impossible and the history of it, so buckle up, we're gonna educate y'all for just a second, because it actually started out as a TV show in the 60s and 70s. And great, I mean, I never watched it, but it's cool to have a movie do so well that was actually just a spin-off of a TV series that was that old, because it started in the 90s. The films did with Tom Cruise. The cool thing about what they did is that Jim Phelps is actually the main character in the TV show, in the 60s and 70s TV show, who was also in the 90s movie, in the first movie, Mission Impossible 1. Tom Cruise played alongside Jon Voight, and he played Jim Phelps, right? Okay, now, the crazy thing about that is that everybody probably thought that Jim Phelps was going to be somebody of a main character. Nobody really expected him to be the antagonist or the main, spoiler alert, bad guy. So it was kind of cool how they twisted that. Mission Impossible actually started out as a TV series back in the late 60s and into the 70s, and it did really well. I never watched it, but it was really cool to be able to make that connection, because the 1990s movies, and then now into 2018-19, they've held up really well. So it's really cool to see a TV series spin-off be so successful, even decades from when it first originally started. Now, the cool thing about the TV series is that Ethan Hunt was actually not the main character of the show. It was Jim Phelps. Now, if anybody's familiar with the film franchise, the very first film featured Jim Phelps, and he wasn't the main character. Tom Cruise's Ethan Hunt was actually the main character alongside Jim Phelps. Now, the cool thing about what they did is they made it to where Jim Phelps was going to be no longer, and Ethan Hunt was going to be the main IMF agent, and they did a great job with that. So if Tom Cruise ever gets to a point to where he's like, dude, I am old, or I just died because I tried to jump off of a helicopter into a moving vehicle and it didn't work, then I think possibly there could be a really cool way for them to bring everything full circle and make it kind of how legendary James Bond is, because James Bond is a timeless character who moves through different actors all the time, and I think it'd be cool for Ethan Hunt to be able to be that kind of character. Now, how so? How could we do this? Now, Ethan Hunt would have to be somebody who doesn't die, because he's too cool of a character, and he can't be a bad guy. He's also too cool of a character, and I'm sure they said that about Jim Phelps, but I think that it is time for him to retire. I'm not asking for that. I'm just saying when the time comes for Tom Cruise, we should just retire Ethan Hunt as well. He's got a wife, bring her back, make a 7 movie, and even make a number 8 movie, and bring her back for both of those, but maybe she's pregnant in the 8th movie, and you're gonna have kids, and you gotta retire, and you gotta move it on to somebody else, find a protege, move it along. He can be the new Ethan Hunt. Now, not necessarily Ethan Hunt exactly, but a new person to bring on the generation. Who would be an awesome person to do this with? A few people come to my mind, but like, let's be honest, Michael B. Jordan's got to be the one to hold up the impossible mission force. Let's give it to Michael B. Jordan. Yeah, I mean, I think it's a cool idea. Mission Impossible is one of my favorite film franchises, and it kills it every freaking time except for number 2. It's just awesome, and I think that if the time comes, they should pay really cool homage to not only the TV series, but the film franchise, and to Ethan Hunt in general by moving it along, keeping it alive, and give it to Michael B. Jordan.